Oh, we can't catch a break, boys. What is actually happening right now? It's the second day of the new year, and I have had to make another video already about another thing, a terrible, not positive thing that has happened on Japanese soil, and it just seems like a bad omen for the rest of the year. So in case you have been living under a rock for the past 12 hours or so and haven't been on Twitter, then yeah, you're looking at this right. I'm on the Nikkei Asia website, news website, that says Japan Airlines plane burns up at Tokyo airport after a collision. This literally happened about 6-7 hours ago as of me recording this video. And I was honestly debating whether I could even make this video at all, but I figured I would talk about it because it is Japanese news and I've turned into a Japanese news guy right now on this channel. And yeah, it's just, to me, again, I needed to kind of make a video on this just to show you guys just honestly how fucked 2024 is already for us. Again, it hasn't even been 2 full fucking days, and we've already had a massive 7.6 magnitude earthquake and a 1-meter tsunami hit the coast of Ishikawa Prefecture, killing a bunch of people, destroying property, destroying livelihoods, and then not even 24 hours after that, this happens at an airport in Tokyo. It is unfucking precedented just how back-to-back this shit is. So let's go into the details in case you guys don't know how the hell this happened or what the hell happened. A Japan Airlines plane collided with a Coast Guard aircraft while landing at Tokyo's Haneda Airport on Tuesday evening. Tuesday being today, as of me recording this video, forcing hundreds of passengers to escape before the jetliner was engulfed in flames. Television footage showed the burning plane on the runway. The aircraft was an Airbus A350 operating as Flight 516 from Shinchitose Airport on the country's northern island of Hokkaido. That's the airport that's in Sapporo. According to JAL, all of the nearly 400 passengers and crew made it out of the aircraft. So the big plane was fine. The plane that burst into flames is fine. Japanese public broadcaster NHK reported that at least 17 people on the flight were injured, probably from, you know, force after the plane like hit. I'm sure a lot of them, you know, sustained burn injuries and stuff like that. Honestly, it's a goddamn miracle nobody was actually killed, because when you look at the footage of this, and I'm not going to do it in this video, you guys can go look it up. Honestly, every news article under the sun, BBC, you know, NHK, Japan News, like literally just look it up. Every article under the sun is writing about this because it is just freaking crazy. But when you see the footage of this plane bursting into flames and it continues to slide down this runway, it's honestly insane to think that nobody was killed. Like that in and of itself is definitely the miracle. However, and this is a big however, authorities said the flight collided with a Japan Coast Guard plane while landing. Police said 5 of the 6 crew members on the Coast Guard aircraft were killed, while the captain is in serious condition. So obviously the smaller flight did not make it, and my condolences to the 5 that were taken from this very unfortunate accident. It's not even an incident, it's an accident, because this should not have happened. The incident occurred as Japan was already reeling from the major earthquake that struck its Sea of Japan coast on New Year's Day, causing multiple deaths and widespread damage, you know, which again I talked about in my last video that I literally uploaded less than 12 hours ago. If you didn't see that, please go check it out, because again, I made that video because there was a lot of misinformation about that shit happening on Twitter and other sites, and I wanted to make sure everybody understood what was happening. And I left a donation link in that video as well that Yahoo Japan officially was starting. Although after a little bit of a while, a little update on that, I found out from a lot of you guys actually who tried to actually go and donate to the Yahoo Japan donation pool, which by the way, for those of you who considered doing so, thank you very much. That honestly means a fucking lot to me. I found out that a lot of people who tried to donate from overseas, from Japan, said that they couldn't actually do it without a Japanese number, which is so goddamn typical of Japan. So right now, me and my team are trying to find like kind of reputable sources for people overseas that can make donations. I don't know if we'll be able to find one, but if you would like to stay updated to that, I will try and figure something out. So if you want details for that, when and if I find it, then please follow me on Twitter, at the Anime Man, links in the description as always, and we'll try and figure that out. The biggest tragedy in this story is this line right here. The Coast Guard plane is understood to have been involved in delivering aid to the quake-hit region. So, not only did 5 Coast Guard members get unfortunately killed in a brutal way, like, I don't think there is any worse of a way you could be killed, but that plane was set to fly to Ishikawa Prefecture tonight to send aid to the earthquake victims from yesterday. And before they could do that, before they could go and do a valiant job to go and rescue and help people that have been struck in unfortunate circumstances, they themselves were struck with the most unfortunate circumstance, halting everything. Listen, I'm not a religious man, but seeing what has happened over the past 48 hours here in Japan, I genuinely do think that the devil is at play here. That, like, a higher being or something is sending us a message saying, hey, remember all that optimism you had for the brand new year? Time to throw that shit in the garbage, because I'm going to drop a 1-2 of devastating news for you that will make you lose all optimism that 2024 is actually going to be a decent fucking year for everyone. And look, I understand, and you know, anecdotally speaking, I do have and heard about a lot of people who are afraid of flying because of situations like this, especially when they see news like this or when they see footage like this of, you know, plane crashes or anything like that. A lot of people look at it and go, nah, I'm out. Like, I'm never catching a plane ever again, or I'm never going to get in a plane ever again, right? Like, I don't want that to happen to me. That must be fucking traumatizing, which is a valid opinion. But just to reassure people about this, let me read this paragraph right here. For JAL, this marks its most serious accident in decades. The airline suffered its worst disaster in 1985, all the way back in 1985. So what's that? Almost 40 years ago, when Flight 123 from Haneda to Osaka crashed after a bulkhead rupture severed its hydraulics, killing 520 people. Now, mind you, this happened in like 40 years ago, in the mid 80s, when that kind of, you know, plane infrastructure stuff wasn't as solid as it is today and wasn't probably as common as it is today. I mean, in Japan, like, you know, in the States and Australia and Europe and stuff like that, there are hundreds and thousands of flights happening all the time. And this is just one of the unfortunate instances. Like 99.99% of the time, especially in Japan, there is absolutely nothing wrong with flights, domestic or international. Trust me, I've even just within 2023, I flew in and out of Japan over 15 times, and every single time it was completely fine. And I've flown planes all my life, especially after starting this, you know, the YouTube thing, and, you know, having the opportunity to go overseas and domestically and a lot like that. I've flown 100+ times in my lifetime, and I've never had any problems whatsoever. Maybe a little bit of, you know, turbulence and stuff like that, but, you know, my rule of thumb when I'm in a plane and really bad turbulence happens, or what I think is really bad turbulence happens, my rule of thumb is to always look towards the stewardess. And if the stewardess looks calm, then that means I know there's nothing wrong. If the stewardess starts to panic, well, then that's a freaking different story. But for, you know, the most part, at least 100% of the time for me, every time turbulences happen, I look over at the stewardess, I look over at staff, and if they seem calm, that makes me calm. So that's my little, I guess, tidbit for you guys who are potentially afraid of, you know, turbulence or anything like that. But my question, right, my question with this particular incident is, how the hell did this happen, right? I mean, sure, you know, maybe with the whole, like, Ishikawa thing, you know, with the whole earthquake thing yesterday, there might have been, like, extra emergency flights that were, you know, set to fly off from Haneda to try and get aid over as much as possible. But goddamn, I can't imagine being one of the, you know, the tower guys, the airport tower guys, who are responsible for this fuck up. Like, somebody was responsible for this fuck up. Somebody was responsible for this miscommunication, and it's most likely someone who was working up at the towers at Haneda Airport. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if anyone is actually going to come out to, you know, claim responsibility for what happened or whatever. But you know, that's kind of what happened. And again, I have just lost all hope for 2024 already. 2 days in, and we've had a massive earthquake, and now we've had this unprecedented disaster that hasn't happened to this airline for almost 40 years. So what the hell is tomorrow going to be? I'm just going to straight up say, I am fucking terrified for what is going to happen this year in Japan. And, you know, fingers fucking crossed, fingers tightly, I'm almost going to break my fingers crossed to make sure that this is the last thing, that bad thing that happens in Japan, at least for a little while. You know, give us some time, give people time to just relax over the New Year's, give people time to relax and, you know, think about the people who had unfortunately been, you know, affected by the Ishikawa earthquake and tsunami. Don't make things more complicated and fucked up than they already are. Please, God, I beg of you. So yeah, that's about it. I just wanted to share that news. I know I said last video that hopefully the next video I make is going to be a little bit more positive. Apparently that was a lie. I'm not going to say the next one is going to be a positive video. I'm just going to hope it is. And I'm just going to hope that tomorrow I can wake up and finish the day without any kind of fucked up news jumping into my eyes. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to smack my face right here. Subscribe to the channel. Let's keep making big channel number go bigger. Yada, yada, yada. Social media, Patreon, nonsense. Check that out. I'm just tired. I'm going to go to bed now. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.